Namaskar, good morning and welcome to CIET NCERT's another live and interactive session, Virtual Labs. My name is Deepak Mishra and you are watching this live session of Virtual Labs on PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12, and apart from that you can also reach us and connect it on our YouTube channels by the name NCERT Official and NCERT PM eVidya class 6 to 12. So today on this session of Virtual Labs, we will be discussing about class 11 students and subject is biology. And let me tell you the topic for today's Virtual Labs live session. The topic is a demonstration of simulation on rate of transpiration. We will study a lot of things on rate of transpiration. But before that, there's an important announcement. If you're watching this session live and if you want to connect us by asking several questions or giving your feedbacks or suggestions, you can just reach us by calling on a dedicated number, that is 8800440559. And apart from that, we also do have a dedicated email ID where you can write us and reach us. The email ID is diksha.training at ciet.nic.in, and during this entire live session you can also visit to our official YouTube channels by the name NCERT, and in the comment section in the live chat box you can ask your questions, give your suggestions and feedback. So before starting this session, let me give you a brief and small idea about Virtual Labs, that what actually Virtual Labs is all about. So as I told you earlier in previous sessions as well, that Virtual Labs is a digital simulation of a physical laboratory that allows users to perform experiment and explore scientific concept, and also to practice scientific technical skills using a computer or a device. And there are some key features of Virtual Labs as well, that if you are a learner, if you are a user, so you receive a lot of key features like you get interactive elements like dragging, clicking some virtual tools. There is a step-by-step instruction to make it easier for you to understand, and data collection and analysis. And lastly, you will also receive a assessment. There will be a test, there will be a quiz as well. So overall it's a complete package for learning a lot of things in Virtual Labs. And now we will go ahead and understand deeply for today's topic, that is on biology subject, as I told you earlier, and rate of transpiration. So let me introduce you, all of you, with our special guest who had joined us in today's live session of Virtual Labs. We are joined by Dr. Upasana Sharma ma'am. She is academic consultant at CIET NCERT New Delhi. Upasana ma'am, very good morning. Namaskar.
Namaste. Thank you.
So ma'am, today's subject is biology, and as our learners and our viewers already know the subject, that we will be studying and learning a lot of things today on rate of transpiration. So ma'am, I'll request you that please guide us step by step to navigate through this website that is on Diksha portal. How will you help us to our viewers and to our learners?
Definitely. Okay, to access the virtual lab, first go on any web browser and type diksha.gov.in. You will land on this kind of a page. This is basically a Diksha portal. Scroll down a bit, you can see the focus areas of Diksha are given. These are the verticals of Diksha. On the verticals, click on the Virtual Lab tab. When you click on the Virtual Lab tab, you will get direct to the Virtual Lab page. As you can see on the top, the About Virtual Lab is given, where the NEP and vision regarding the Virtual Lab is mentioned. When you scroll down a bit, you can see the list of e-content. Here basically the contents are classified according to the classes. As you can see, the classes mentioned here are from the class 6th to class 12th. Click on the Explore button. When you click on the Explore button, you will see the two mediums are given, that is the Hindi and English medium. Click on the medium, you can see the various subjects are mentioned. Click on any subject.
Okay, so what I can
yes.
see, ma'am, it's very easy to access through this Diksha portal.
Yes, yes.
Let's try it once again, because it will be asking to log in
Yes,
to that.
first the user need to log in.
Okay, so user need to just type their email ID or whatever the email address is there,
Yes.
and then they can access in detail.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely. When you click on the explore button, you can see the various subject and choose the subject according to your need. When you click on the subject, you can see the table of content is given on the right side according to the various topics which are related to that subject. Choose your topic. When you choose a topic, you can see the various options are given. These options are the theoretical aspect related to that particular experiment,
Okay.
the procedure related to that experiment, the various resources for the further studies, the simulation part where an user can actually do the practical, and the self-evaluation tool. Now, in this session, we will discuss the topic rate of transpiration, how actually a transpiration occurs in plant. Okay, when you click on the experiment, you can see the various tabs are given. These are basically the theoretical aspect, the procedure, the animated, the simulation part, video, evaluation, resources, and the feedback. First, we will try to understand about the theoretical aspect of the practical. So, this experiment is all about to understand the process of transpiration and to compare between how the process of transpiration happened between the upper and the lower surface of a leaf. As we all know, what is transpiration? Transpiration is basically a process where a plant lost the water. From where the plant lost its water? From the aerial part of the plant, that is basically from the leaf or from the young shoot. How this process of transpiration take place? This take place by the help of the epidermal layer. This layer contains the minute pores. These are basically the microscopic pores. These pores are structure called as stomata. These stomata are present on the leaf. The stomata are basically concerned with the exchange of gases through the process of photosynthesis and respiration. Each stomata has this slit like opening called the stomata pore. These pores are basically, these pores contain the two type of cell, or you can see the guard cell. These guard cells help in the opening and the closing of the stomata. In plant, the process of stomata take place by means of three types. First is through the process of stomata, then with the help of cuticles present on the leaf, on the waxy part, and the third is the lenticular part, that is basically from the stem. So, the process of transpiration take place with the aerial part of the plant. Now, why transpiration is required, or what is the importance of transpiration? Transpiration basically helps in the absorption of water from the soil. And how a plant absorb water from the soil? It absorb water with the help of the xylem vessels, and these xylem vessels basically help in the upward movement of the water, which are greatly influenced by the transpirational pull. The transpiration basically help to maintain the turgidity in the plant. It helps to cool down the plant through the process of evaporation. Now, there are certain factors which affect the process of transpiration, or which affects the rate of the transpiration. These factors are like the light, presence of light, then the humidity, then the temperature or the wind. Let's discuss one by one how these factors affect the rate of the transpiration. As I have just mentioned, the first thing is light. So, basically the opening and the closing of stomata gets triggered with in the presence of light. The stomata are triggered to open in the presence of light, and thus the rate of transpiration increases in the presence of light. Now, the second thing is temperature. plant transpire more rapidly at higher temperature than in comparison to the lower temperature. So, the rate of transpiration increases with the increase in temperature. Now, the third thing is humidity. When there is humidity in the atmosphere, the rate of transpiration decreases. The higher the relative humidity, there will be the decrease in the rate of transpiration. And at the end, the presence of wind. In the presence of wind, as the air around the leaf is increases, this increases the humidity, thus there will be the decrease in the rate of transpiration. Thus, the presence of light, the temperature, the presence of wind, the humidity, all this affects the rate of transpiration in plant. Now, how this process of transpiration take place in a plant? This takes place with the help of the certain microscopic pores. These microscopic pores are basically stomata, and how a user can do this practical in a real lab structure or in a virtual lab structure? They can do this practical with simply using a cobalt chloride paper. So, how our cobalt chloride paper help to understand the rate of transpiration? This we will understand in the procedural plant. Now, what a user can understand at the end of this process? A user will understand the concept of transpiration. A user will understand how the process of transpiration increases or decreases, or you can say the various factors which are affecting the rate of transpiration. How there is a difference between the rate of transpiration on the upper portion or the upper layer of the leaf and the lower layer of the leaf, and at the end the learner will be able to experiment more accurately in the real lab once they have learned or performed this particular experiment in the virtual setup. Now, let us go on the procedure, or what a learner need to do in a real or in a virtual lab. So, the first thing is material. Here you can see the various materials required to perform the experiment are mentioned. A learner need a healthy potted plant, a forceps, a filter paper, wire gauze, cobalt chloride solution, the clips, the petri dish and the glass slide. Now, what a learner need to do in a real lab procedure? First, a learner need a 3% cobalt chloride solution. From the learner need to dip a filter paper in the cobalt chloride solution. Keep that paper in the solution for approximately 3 to 5 minutes. The filter paper will change its color in pink color. Why? Because when a filter paper gets wet, the color will change into the pink color. Now, remove the strips from the solution by using a forceps. Place the strip on a wire gauze to let it dry. Now, select a healthy plant. Clean the upper surface to remove the excess water. Place that filter paper on that particular part of the leaf, that is on the upper portion of the leaf as well as on the lower part of the lower part of the leaf. Now, clip this gently by means of any clipper. Take 2 glass slides and cover the upper part. Now, understand or try to observe what is changes or what are the changes taking place on that particular filter paper. As I have just mentioned, the filter paper color will change into pink color when it gets wet. A similar kind of experiment can be performed in the simulated environment as well. So, a learner before going in a real lab can perform this similar experiment in a simulated environment or in virtual lab, so they can understand this particular experiment better, and also a learner can compare the result of the real lab setting as well as the virtual lab setting and can understand the process better. So, the similar steps are needed for the simulated environment as well, and then at the end the learner can conclude how there is difference in the rate of transpiration in the upper part or in the lower part. There are certain precautions which a learner need to pay attention on. Number one, the plant which a learner is taking for the experiment should be a well watered plant. Now the second thing, always handle the dried cobalt paper gently by means of any faucet. And the third thing is, the leaf surface should not be wet. Because why the leaf surface should not be wet? Because it will instantly changes color into the pink color. So these are basically the procedure. Before doing the experiment in the real world, a learner can also go through the animation videos which are present on the virtual lab portal. These animated videos are very engaging. A learner can go through this video, can understand the various materials, can understand the various steps required during the practical, and also can understand the difference between the rate of transpiration, how a rate of transpiration occurs on the upper leaf and how it actually happens in the lower part of the leaf. A learner can also go through the videos which are available on the portal. So basically all these resources are present which a learner can refer before doing that particular experiment. Now let's perform the experiment. As you can see, this is the simulated part of the experiment. Here a learner is actually that real experiment in a virtual setting. Now what a learner is doing in this virtual setting, as you can see on the screen, there are three types of plants are given, three samples are given. Click on any sample. I have first selected the lily plant. Now click on the proceed button. As you can see, the filter paper which is currently blue in color is stick on the upper as well as on the lower part of the leaf. Now click on the start. As you can see that after some time, basically after 15 seconds, both the upper and the lower part of the leaf has changed its color into the pink color. Click on the inference. From the inference, then a learner can understand the rate of transpiration is same on both the upper and the lower surface of the plant. Try to understand the similar plant. Click on the inference. You can see the rate of transpiration is higher in comparison to the lower surface. As you can see on the higher surface, this filter paper has changed its color into the pink color, but on the lower surface the filter paper is still blue in color. This indicates that the rate of transpiration is higher because the presence of stomata is great in comparison to the stomata present on the lower surface. The number of stomata is more in comparison to the number of stomata present on the lower surface of the plant. Now select any other plant, that is the tomato plant, and try to understand the similar process. Click on the start button. When you click on this inference, you can see the rate of transpiration is higher on the upper surface than in comparison to the lower surface. By this, a learner can easily understand that there is a change in the process or in the rate of transpiration on the upper surface and on the lower surface of the plant. In the first plant lily, there is no change in the rate than in comparison to the lower surface. Why there is so much difference in these plants in the process of transpiration? This basically depends upon the type of plant and also it depends upon the various factors which I have mentioned, the various factors like the light, the presence of wind, the humidity, the number of stomata present on the upper surface of the plant as well as on the lower surface of the plant. If a learner gets stuck anywhere, a learner can click on the reset button and can start this practical from the starting. So, this is basically the simulated part of the experiment. After doing the experiment, a learner can self-evaluate himself. Even a teacher can use this question to evaluate the learner, to evaluate the knowledge of the learner, or a teacher can use this tool to evaluate the various learner present in a classroom. As you can see, the self-evaluation tool consists a number of questions. What is the process of evaporation of water into the atmosphere from the aerial part of the plant called? This is called as transpiration. Here I am randomly selecting the answer. So, when a learner submit the answer, a learner will understand why his answer is correct, and if in case of a wrong answer, a hint is also given. So, basically a learner can self-evaluate himself, can go through the theory part, can go through the procedure, can perform the experiment again and can understand this process well. That's why a learner, that's why this self-evaluation tool is given to understand a learner result, or you can say a learner, how much a learner can understand this particular practical, or what all a learner has achieved, what are the learning outcomes which a learner has achieved at the end of the experiment. As you can see, the resources are mentioned. These resources are book. These books are basically the lab manual, the various websites which are given for the further study for the learner, and a learner can also give feedback regarding the experiment. So, here a learner can go through all these type of the resources, these types of e-resources which are available on the platform. A learner can understand the theoretical aspect of the platform. A learner can go through all the procedural part of the platform. In the procedural part, all the steps are given, all the materials required for the experiments are given, all the steps a learner need to perform in the real world setting or in the virtual world. A learner can compare how a virtual experiment is differ from a real setup. A learner can watch all these animated videos. These videos are basically contains all the steps which are related to the experiment. Our learner can watch these videos and can perform the experiment. A learner can perform this experiment in the simulated environment, can drag and drop, and thus a learner will find himself continuously engaging, continuously doing something related to the experiment, and can self-evaluate himself. A learner simply needs to go on the Diksha portal, type diksha.gov.in on any web browser, go on the focus areas, scroll down on the left or right and click on the virtual lab. When a learner will click on the virtual lab, a learner will get direct on this kind of a page. This page basically contains all the content from the class 6th to 12th in various mediums and in various subjects. A learner simply need to click on the medium, then click on the subject. After clicking on the subject, a learner will find the table of the content, and now from the table of the content, a learner can check what the experiment a learner want to perform on that particular day. A learner can use this practical for as a learning tool before, during the performance session and even after the session. So, this is the all about the experiment and how a learner can assess this experiment on the virtual labs.
Right. Upasana ma'am, I think I personally find this very learning and interesting session about today's virtual labs, because it gives a very brief idea and a very step by step that just by using a computer or laptop or any device, just anyone can, a user or a learner can visit to Diksha portal, and step by step they can perform their experiments as well. And today's session was very amazing. Upasana ma'am, especially we learned about the rate of transpiration in plants, and also I found this very easy to just perform the experiments. I would like to give you very thank you so much ma'am for coming and in this session and explaining us so beautifully step by step.
Thank you.
Alright, so we had learned a lot of things today, but let me give you a very important announcement and reminder, because our users and our learners are always ready to learn and they are always watching PM eVidya channel, especially the virtual labs session, that what special we will teach and we will learn today. So announcement for tomorrow, that is Tuesday 15th of July, there will be a virtual labs live session on class 7 and subject will be chemistry, and the topic is very interesting. Topic is neutralization reaction when acids meet bases. We will go in depth inside and understand a lot of things. And another important announcement that now the textbooks of class 4 and 7 students are available online. You can go ahead and purchase them on Amazon, Flipkart and on NCERT's official website. Now, before wrapping this live session of virtual labs, let's have a quick look on the upcoming sessions, what all sessions you will be watching today on PM eVidya channels. So, after some time today at 12 noon, there will be a session for class 1 students. Subject will be Hindi and the topic is Teen Sadi. After later on, there will be a session at 2 p.m. for class 1 students. Subject will be mathematics. Topic is fun with numbers part 2. At 2:30 p.m. session will be for class 1 students. Subject is Hindi and topic is Alu Ki Sadak. Then at 3 p.m. we will be watching session on subject English. Topic will be a show of clouds. 3:30 p.m. we will be watching session on subject mathematics. Topic is decoration for festival part 2. At 4 p.m. there will be an online training, a 1-hour online training program. And lastly, at 5 p.m. there will be a session of our special Sahyog session, and you will be watching that on PM eVidya channels, class 6 to 12. So this is me, Deepak Mishra, now wrapping up with the session with the commitment. We'll come once back and we will learn a lot of things. Till the time, take care of yourself, keep smiling, keep learning and keep watching PM eVidya channels. Namaskar.